Hi, I'm Sam Peterson, and this is the Millcreek Government Channel. Our guest today is Emily Fetko of the Erie Downtown Partnership, a nonprofit. The EDP has been working to positively impact downtown Erie City for nearly 20 years through advocacy, marketing, and placemaking. Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Sam. Thanks so much for having me. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really excited. You know, there's a lot to dig into with this, so I guess I just like to start with an overview. So as an overview, what does the EDP do for residents in Erie County?
Yeah, so the Erie Downtown Partnership, our mission is to make downtown safe, fun, and welcoming for all. And we do that by employing a number of services. We're a placemaking agency, essentially, so we care about events and advocacy and marketing of the downtown, supporting businesses, supporting and programming downtown's public spaces. And really, when it comes down to it, it's really about improving the quality of life for downtown employers, residents, visitors, but also impacting and improving that economic vibrancy that is vital to the commercial core.
Absolutely. And, we can talk all day about that. So I guess what would be some of the more important aspects of your guys' work?
Yeah. Some of the things that we do that people don't really know that we do is we have a really robust but small team called the Safety and Hospitality Ambassadors. They are downtown Monday through Friday. Their shift starts very early at 5 a.m. during the summer and fall hours, or seasons, I should say. And they work to make downtown clean, welcoming. They do graffiti removal. They do power washing of the sidewalks. They remove debris and litter. And as a result of the pandemic and all the changes and symptoms we're seeing of that, they do a lot of wellness checks, we call them, with our unhomed neighbors that are downtown. So making sure people are okay, observing them where they're sleeping outside, unsheltered, connecting them to services if needing. Sometimes it's just a matter of buying them a coffee or a water, having a conversation with them. But the ambassadors really work as trust agents. And the idea of a trust agent is really important. And we're seeing how trust agents are really important to improving some of those pandemic-related issues, like increased homelessness in other communities. And certainly we're seeing the difference that makes for our downtown community. Last year they did 122 wellness checks. This year we're at over 90, and we're not even done with the year. So unfortunately it's something that's needed, but we think that it's an important service that we offer. Our businesses obviously are greatly impacted by the presence of the unhomed in our downtown. People sheltering inside doorways or at the backs in the alleys. That's hard for businesses and their employees to manage. It's hard to manage the expectations, not just internally as part of their business, but for consumers and customers that want to come downtown and have that good downtown experience. So we're very proactive in redirecting the homeless, advocating for them where appropriate to get into the right type of service. We have some amazing relationships with the social service sector who have been educators and supporters of our work. They've helped us be much more acutely aware of the needs that the homeless have in our community, why homelessness and the mental health crisis that a lot of them suffer from exist. And we get training on how to deploy our wellness checks accordingly. And in fact, in November, we're going to be having a special training workshop for businesses to help them understand how they can safely interact with homeless neighbors and those experiencing a crisis, because obviously winter is very hard for that population. We're going to see people needing to shelter, looking for a place to warm up, and empowering people in how to have that safe interaction, keeping their customers safe, their employees safe, and creating boundaries around how they help is really important in making sure everybody stays safe.
Absolutely. So I know you talked about the COVID-19 pandemic and some of the changes that it's brought about and how it could be affecting homelessness and all of those things. For you specifically in the Erie Downtown Partnership, what changes have you guys seen and how would you go about doing business now?
The pandemic has been a great educator, and I think we've learned a lot across the globe about certain things that maybe we took for granted. For instance, we've known for a long time, and the pandemic certainly accentuated the importance of public space to a community. There are people living in and around the commercial core for whom the public spaces that exist are their backyards. It's the place that they went to for recreation and respite. And the Brookings Institute actually has a wonderful sentiment about public spaces during the course of the pandemic. And they say how the healing of people will really be about the healing of places. And I think downtown is really ripe with a lot of opportunities to look at how we do things and do it through the lens of what we learned. We know that businesses have been impacted up and down in so many ways because of the pandemic. The cost of goods and services have been just exorbitant to them. They've seen huge increases in the cost of doing business. They've seen increases to paying employees. Employees have become, it's been really competitive to get good employees to come and show up to work, especially in the restaurant sector.
Of course.
We have seen that the pandemic continues to be front and center. We're not totally through it, and we're not done with our own recovery here in downtown Erie. An example of that is how a lot of businesses have shrunk their hours of operation, restaurants particularly. You may have noticed that some of your favorite restaurants may not have the hours that they had previously.
Well, they'll be closed altogether that day,
Yes, and maybe they used to have lunch, now they don't have lunch, they open way later. There's an opportunity to assist them as they move through that process in determining what's next for them. But I think that is a symptom of their own recovery, trying to figure it out, how they're responding to the pandemic and that post-recovery, how they're attracting, I think, workforce to their businesses as well. Those are things that we see all the time in our commercial core and are an absolute symptom of we're not through it yet. And the Downtown Partnership did provide 21 businesses with recovery grants through the pandemic, and we've offered a lot of other services and support to businesses. But convening them, learning about the problems they're facing now as we're coming out the other side of the pandemic, seeing where the downtown is now in relation to, uptown, midtown, downtown, what's open, how are those things connected? How can we as an organization program public space to drive that density that's needed? And right now, one of those big challenges is commute-worthy activation and animation. It's making sure that people have a reason to come downtown and can have multiple stops. They choose to have multiple stops instead of, I'm coming for this and then I'm leaving. I'm going to eat and then I'm leaving. So our job is really to bring people downtown and keep them there for as long as we can to support that business community that exists downtown. And they need it. They need it. So I would advise everybody, to support those downtown businesses. Spend your money downtown. They still need the support, and it's a big learning curve, I think, for us all.
Absolutely. And I think we follow kind of the same tenet over at Millcreek, that we want people to go to Presque Isle and not just leave. We want people to stay and support those small businesses in the area with the formation of the Gateway District, which is underway now. So I guess, would it be fair to say then that your work benefits not only the businesses in downtown Erie, but also all the people visiting, and the people that live there as well?
I'd say absolutely. What's happening in Millcreek and what's happening in the city of Erie, everything is connected to everything. And the vibrancy of our neighborhoods that are adjacent to the downtown commercial core, what's happening in Millcreek, the Presque Isle Gateway District, we need to look at creating those vibrant, connected spaces. We can't have too many of them, and I think the idea of improving and having a better standard of care for those places, for our communities, whether you're in Millcreek, whether you're in downtown Erie, we need to improve those spaces. It's all about the quality of life, it's all about economic vibrancy, and people want to go where it feels good to exist. So creating those spaces and making sure that they're all connected, it's a win-win for everybody. And I know that we're really excited about what's happening in Millcreek. It definitely benefits the commercial core and vice versa. And I think it's a huge opportunity for Erie County as a whole to really do something pretty bold and significant by changing the way people move and exist in those spaces.
So going off of that, you mentioned Erie County. So what challenges do you see with not only the downtown of Erie, but Erie County as a whole?
That's an excellent question. I think, what we observe at the Erie Downtown Partnership, I do think that the presence of our unhomed population is perhaps a crisis that needs addressed. I think that seeing people suffering is inhibitive of the growth that we need. It doesn't do much for the quality of life for people that are interacting in those spaces downtown on a regular basis, whether you're coming into work, whether you live downtown, and now we have an abundance of beautiful residential living downtown. It's hard to see people suffering. And I think the good news is that we can do something about it. And there are opportunities to do something bolder and create our own best practice model where we should have communities calling us and saying, hey, how did you guys figure this out? How did you advance your mission in this way? And how did you solve this particular problem? Not that we expect that homelessness should just disappear and we're going to solve everybody's problems, but I do think we have a unique opportunity to really look at the downtown environment, the environment in which business gets done. We're a downtown improvement district, which doesn't mean a whole lot to most people, but it's a federal designation and it's something that is important as an economic tool for a commercial core. So talking to our peers across the Commonwealth who are also downtown improvement districts, all of whom are facing the same challenges, all of whom have expressed a challenge with the homeless population, you've got to dig in and you've got to ask questions. You have to have an abundance of curiosity, and you have to come to things with the idea that you don't know everything, and we also can't fix everything alone. We need strong partners, and we have an enormous, I think, activated network of partners who really care about this. I think it just seems too heavy a lift of sometimes for everybody to get on board with the same plan of action and the same approach. But I think if we could look at how we service the homeless community in a really incremental way, knowing that there are different phases of homelessness and different people for whom housing or shelter may not be an option, if we can keep them safe and have more data available to us on what their particular needs are, where they're coming from, how many of them exist in the commercial core, that would really help inform not only our response, but I think a collective county response. And we do have, again, an amazing relationship with the social service sector. The Erie County Home Team and Continuum of Care, there are several people who are members of that group who have been an abundance of education and resource and support for us and our team. But I think that is something that is absolutely front and center in creating a better quality of life and improving that environment in which business gets done. It's really hard to invite people to come downtown and they might see somebody, sleeping unsheltered, and they start to get ideas and have a narrative around what downtown is. I can tell you that I, for one, feel very safe, but I'm used to downtown. I'm downtown all the time, just about every day. So my lived experience with downtown is much different than somebody who may come only occasionally or very rarely. And if they see something that makes them uncomfortable, like somebody experiencing homelessness, it can really be off-putting. I think that is one of, if not the biggest challenges facing downtown and, dare I say, the county as a whole.
So you guys have an anniversary coming up. So where do you see Erie downtown going in the next 20 years?
I love this question. So in 2024, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary as a nonprofit organization serving the downtown. And we're really excited about it, and we'll be having a number of ways that everybody can engage with us and celebrate with us. But right now, we are fully leaning into activating public spaces, improving public spaces, and looking at what infrastructure, what amenities, and what programming can happen in those spaces. And we fully believe that you can't create community space without the community. So anything that we do, we try and involve the community in participating in How do you want to use these spaces? What do you want to do? What's lacking in downtown right now? Where can we fill those gaps? Who and what partners do we need to bring into that conversation to maybe advance a certain need or fill a specific gap? So for us, we're all about public spaces, and I think you're going to see a lot more robust public space development in collaboration with our friends at the City of Erie, for sure. We're very much always working very strategically with them, and I think that's something that will not only continue but only grow. So I think public space and deciding what happens there for the next 20, 50 years is going to be at the top of our list, and making sure those spaces have what people want them to have. And public restrooms is another great example of a challenge. You know, none of our public spaces right now have permanent public restrooms. You're bringing more people into downtown, you're creating more residential environments, you're creating opportunities for more businesses to grow or relocate to the downtown. We have 140 events every year. We program downtown 40% of the year. It's important that we have access to public restrooms. Figuring out what our public spaces need to be and who they need to serve is really important looking to the future, and we're going to be front and center on that topic. Our foot will be firmly on the gas on that specific topic. And it's something that every community is dealing with. I mean, public spaces are so important. And again, the pandemic's been a great educator. We know the importance of public spaces. Now, having living through the pandemic the way we did, we now have a different, I think, sense of pride in the public spaces that we have, which I have to say are good. Our public spaces are really, really good downtown. But looking on the horizon, how do we support all the investment coming? How do we, again, create that commute-worthy activation in those spaces that support the bottom line of our businesses? It's all connected. So having an opportunity to look at those public spaces and how they change and evolve in the next 5, 10, 20 years, critical to our mission, critical to our downtown.
So you mentioned businesses coming in and developing the downtown economically. So what do you think are some of the major advantages of doing business in downtown Erie and Erie County as a whole?
I think downtown, has a different vibe that is still being curated, if you will. We're starting to see more niche businesses, especially in the retail sector, come downtown, which is really exciting. We're going to have more businesses announcing a relocation to downtown in the coming months. There is this eclectic vibe downtown. It's the hub of our arts and culture and entertainment sector. Culturally speaking, I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially to support our minority businesses and entrepreneurs. I think that's an opportunity and a challenge, but there really is a place for everyone downtown, and I think our role is to create space for businesses in a way that's very intentional to help connect them to resources and other partners so that they can have the best possible economic outcomes downtown. We want to see them grow, we want to see them thrive, and downtown is just a really special place that has this inherent history and legacy to it. And where it's going now is going to be something so unique and so different that everybody will want to be downtown. And that's the good news. So I think more people are starting to realize that, but we do have an eclectic mix of businesses, and I think that's one of the things that makes downtown so exciting, and it's only going to grow, and we're going to help it grow.
Absolutely. So my thought would be that as the business economy in downtown Erie grows, so too does the tourism, the visitors, the people coming. Do you agree with that?
Oh, certainly. And I think it's kind of a back and forth. You have more visitors, and if we can lead them up from the bayfront and the hotels and get them to explore the commercial core, again, not just bringing people here, but making sure they stay here for as long as possible. And they have that experience where they say, I saw this thing in downtown Erie and it was amazing. I ate at this restaurant downtown Erie and it was amazing. Connecting them to all of those opportunities to explore the downtown is really critical because they feed off of each other. Visitors are a huge economic engine to the businesses that reside in downtown, and having a vibrant downtown really serves those visitors. So we're kind of all growing together and figuring out what that looks like for the next iteration of what downtown will be.
So you're working both sides a little bit, trying to get downtown looking nice for those visitors and get those visitors in, but also working on the economic side of things, which will in turn, they'll kind of play off each other, right?
Sure, absolutely, Sam.
So if someone did want to get involved, go to just either helping you guys out, donation-wise, or to just be a part of downtown Erie, what would be the best way to do that?
Yeah, maybe I'm a little sentimental, but I do like to tell people that we're all a part of the downtown experience. We all play a role, and certainly the downtown experience is what we at the Erie Downtown Partnership are all about. So I would remind people, to lead with kindness, to start there. When you're downtown, be kind, hold doors, put a quarter in a parking meter for somebody. Stop in and support the downtown businesses. That's probably one of the most important things you can do to support our work and support the downtown, because that's why we exist, is to make sure the downtown is thriving. Support our small businesses. The shopping season is coming up. Please try and buy as many things as you can from local stores and business owners, especially in the downtown. I think beyond being kind and supporting the business community in the downtown, it's showing up to our events and giving us feedback on what you want to see more of, what you really enjoyed, maybe what you think is missing. We love feedback, and we understand that we need that feedback to constantly improve upon what we do and how we do it. And you can also donate if you love what you heard about the ambassadors and you want to help the ambassadors and fortify their service offerings and their training. Or you want to donate or sponsor an event, you can do so by you can contact our amazing development director, Christine Erie. She'd love to have a conversation with you at the partnership. But we also do have a donate button on our website, and I would invite anybody who feels so inclined to make a donation of any gift, a meaningful gift within your means to the partnership, and we'll definitely put it to good use.
Awesome. Well, Emily, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thanks, Sam. It was a pleasure.
I loved having you. Thank you, and I loved hearing everything you had to say. And to the Millcreek viewers, we learned so much today about the Erie Downtown Partnership and everything we need to do to help improve the downtown experience. Till next time, Millcreek, I'm Sam Peterson. Thank you.